Good afternoon and welcome to Quays News. I'm Georgina Bradley.
And I'm Katie Louise Buxton. Here's what's coming up on the programme today. Human remains have been discovered in Yorkshire which police believe could be the body of Rania Ali-Ed, who was murdered in 2014 in Salford.
A homeless camp in the Manchester city centre has been cleared by the council.
Buses in Manchester will adopt the new tap and go system already used by trams across the city.
And we spoke to people who are keeping Salford Quays clean. Our top story today, human remains have been discovered near the A19 in Thirsk, which police strongly suspect is the body of Rania Ali-Ed from Salford, who was murdered 12 years ago by her abusive husband. Our reporter Izzy has more on this story.
Body parts have been found by Greater Manchester Police which are believed to be the mother of three, Rania Ali-Ed, who was murdered by her husband 12 years ago. Rania was 25 when Ahmed Al-Khatib killed her in June 2013 at a flat in Salford. At the time of her death, Rania had left the family home and started an independent life with her children at Beachfield Street, Cheetham Hill. The trial's prosecutor told the jury after becoming too westernised for her violent and controlling husband's liking. Al-Khatib admitted killing Rania but claimed he was mentally ill at the time and believed she was possessed by a demon. The jury rejected his defence after a month-long trial and convicted him of murder. Detectives have interviewed Al-Khatib several times in a bid to get precise information as to where Rania was buried. Over the years, the search for her remains have involved officers from both Greater Manchester Police, North Yorkshire, and working together with support from the military. Greater Manchester Police say they strongly believe the remains are those of Rania. The recovery may take several days. The trial was made in a copse near the A19 at Thirsk in North Yorkshire.
A homeless camp in the centre of Manchester has been cleared by the council in the early hours of yesterday morning. The Red Tent camp appeared in St Peter's Square in 2024 as a protest, but became a home for the homeless community, many of which are refugees granted the legal right to remain in the UK. Our reporter, Jonathan Halvorsen, went down to the site to find out more.
Good afternoon, I'm reporting from St Peter's Square after the campaign against homelessness has taken another turn. Yesterday morning at 6:45 a.m, Manchester City Council evicted dozens of camp residents and refugees. They were given plastic bags to bring their belongings and instructed to leave. Manchester City Council came out with a statement saying, quote, "The court order instructing people in the St Peter's Square camp to leave the area was carried away successfully this morning." This brings to an end encampment which has been in place there for several months, with fluctuating numbers occupied for people who are refugees and have been granted the right to remain in the country. This comes after the council was granted a possession order by judge, giving them permission to move those occupying the land on. Andy Burnham has spoke to BBC Radio Manchester today as well, saying, quote, "This is not good for people in the tents, it's not good for the city, it's not the right place for people to get support." I've also spoken to Yvonne Hope, the CEO of Barnabas, a homeless charity providing a lifeline to the homeless in Manchester. She emphasises on that the reality of coming to England is nothing like expected. She continues to talk about that you can't run away from the price in this country and it's an impossible situation, and making it clear that it's not a winner in this situation. Barnabas has also been in contact with many of the camp refugees, talking about they are suffering from depression and anxiety, and that the reality here in England is nothing like what they expected. Jonathan Halvorsen, Quays News.
If you take the tram often, then you will be familiar with the tap and go payment system. Well, from March the 23rd, B Network buses will be implementing that method in order to make public transport more accessible and easier for everyone to use. Our reporter Sevi Jakovsky has more on this story.
Buses will soon be heading towards technological advancement, as Salford passengers will be able to travel by bus with the new tap and go system that is set to integrate into the B Network in less than a month. Everyone is used to paying for their bus ride and getting a ticket, but gone are the days of single and return tickets. With a new system, you will simply tap in when you enter the bus and tap out when you leave. This new system works by card, phone or smart device, achieving Greater Manchester the long-held ambition, bringing it in line with other global cities. Fares will be automatically capped to allow passengers the best value for the least hassle. For bus-only journeys, that is £2 for single hopper rides, £5 for the day, or over £20 for a week, no matter how many buses you take.
Makes it easier because you haven't got to mess about with the buttons, doing change, looking through, finding different things on the menu.
Andy Burnham, Mayor of Greater Manchester, said the introduction of Tap and Go across bus and tram is a huge leap forward for the B network. It is a key step in our plan to ensure we have a world-class public transport system fit for our needs as a growing city region. Residents will no longer need to plan or buy in advance, as this new system has been described as key to the success of the B network. Although this system works without you needing a ticket, anyone who still wants to pay with cash or purchase a ticket is still able to do so.
Older people do get confused and find it difficult to adjust to new ideas, which my friends have found this morning because they haven't done it before. But I think it's a very good idea once it gets up and running, as it were. Yes. So.
This new and upcoming change seems to be having a positive effect on bus drivers and Salford residents. And following the footsteps of the trams, the rollout of the new system will begin on March 23rd. And will hope to improve and help Salford residents travel by bus and tram seamlessly.
Thanks, Sevi. Over the weekend in Salford Quays, volunteers have been rolling up their sleeves to tackle litter and pollution across the area.
With growing concerns about the impact of waste on both land and water, the community is taking action to make a difference. Abby Jones reports.
Plastic bottles, takeaway containers, and even dumped household waste. Litter has been a growing problem in Salford Quays, but since 2020, the Clean Up Salford Quays initiative has been tackling the issue. According to Salford City Council, recycling rates in the area have increased by 25% since the project began. I spoke to Lynn Wilkinson, a volunteer who joined the project to help make a difference.
I've lived here nearly 11 years, I work here, I walk around about here, and it's just all the rubbish that's left around here that annoys me. My husband and myself started about 5 years ago, just doing it ourselves round about here every couple of weeks, and then I've joined now with the Salford Clean Up, and I enjoy doing that and keeping my area clean.
Even with all the progress, Lynn still has some concerns.
Definitely still needs to be improvement, yes. You see an awful lot of it. We need more bins.
Councillor Paul Heilbron, who leads the initiative, explains what happens on a typical clean-up day.
The core team arrives at about 10:45, we get set up, we get everybody signed in, and then once they're signed in we'll get them into a WhatsApp group for the day. Everyone can then share their live location, and we have a map in there pre-pinned for the cleaning zone for the day. We normally clean for 2 hours, so 11 till 1. About 1:45 we'll get all the bags together and take them to one communal bin, and this is so the council can easily collect it. We don't want to clean up litter and make it messy at the same time. So we take all the bags to one communal bin, we'll get a group photo, and then there's a bit of social activity, a bit of social time afterwards.
As well as reducing litter, the project is helping to change attitudes. More residents are now getting involved, making long-term improvements to the quays. Salford Quays is a vibrant area, and it is heartening to see the community come together, not just to litter pick, but to create a positive and lasting impact on the environment. I also spoke to local resident Sarah Ollier, who shared her thoughts on the project.
I think that's a really good idea, for the wildlife. I think it helps and it makes it look tidy and clean. I think it's a really good idea.
With support from the council and local people, Clean Up Salford Quays is making a real difference. The project isn't just about keeping the area tidy, it's about bringing the community together and making the quays a better place for everyone.
Over the weekend, MacFest took place, a 6-monthly event run by Krishra Shiraz MBE to celebrate Muslim arts and culture. Our reporter Charlie Sutton spoke to Krishra, and he joins us now on the sofa.
So, Charlie, tell us more about MacFest.
So MacFest is an arts and culture festival that aims to bring Muslims and non-Muslims together to promote social inclusion and overcome Islamophobia. I had the pleasure of speaking to Krishra Shiraz MBE, who set up MacFest. She explained to me what MacFest is.
MacFest stands for Muslim Art and Culture Festival. It's an art and culture festival which started off at a local level, Manchester based. And then the vision was for it to become national, which it is now. And then with access to Zoom, it became global. And we celebrate Muslim heritage. and we celebrate different art forms, literature, culture, heritage, history, art form, exhibition, cuisine, you name it.
MacFest go to schools to try and change the perception of Islam to British children. This is having a positive effect on children and is starting to change the narrative.
All hundreds and hundreds, remember sometimes the whole school celebrates, so we're talking about hundreds and thousands of children. It is having an impact. For non-Muslims, they learn about Islam, about Muslim communities, about their culture, their heritage, so some of their perceptions are changed. For the Muslim children, it gives them back their self-esteem, their pride, and they see really a positive role in that. And the other part of it, I focus on the migrant communities, in particular the women, who normally would be marginalized, give them an opportunity to take part, to present events, to present panels.
MacFest also have partnerships with the Central Library and the University of Salford. They're hoping that this will help reach a wide audience and therefore help the issue of Islamophobia.
Thanks, Charlie. Now, Manchester is brimming with creative people. Jenny Ho of Sketching Cafe wants to foster that creativity through events that provide the opportunity to network for people of all walks of life. Abigail Homewood went to one of the events to find out more.
The creative sector in Manchester contributes over $5 billion annually to the economy. Events like Sketching Cafe foster collaboration and help professionals grow, offering an important space for networking and innovation.
I'm here at Pot Kettle Black, a popular spot in central Manchester. I'm going to be joining the Creative Co-work Club for the day and speaking to the founder Jenny about how this started, what the plans for the future are, and learning more about it.
Being a creative can be very lonely at times, and I feel that we're all actually thinking about the same thing. And it's just really nice to talk to other people about it. And the more honest we are with our conversations, the more we realise we're actually feeling exactly the same. So I started a club called Sketching Cafe, where we go to different cafes to chill, chat, and laugh.
Studies show that collaboration can reduce stress and foster resilience, helping individuals cope with the challenges of freelance work.
They help each other to get to their goals, get closer to their goal. And people are really nice and friendly. But when you see that people have similar interests, it gives you more inspiration. It's nice to have people from the same community.
For many creatives, asking for help is tough, but spaces like this remind us that seeking support can break down barriers and open doors for growth.
If you don't ask for the help you need, then you stand so little chance of getting the help you need, which I hate being vulnerable, hate asking for help.
Sally's experience shows how vital it is for creatives to break out of the isolation they feel and gain support.
It's really helpful, yeah, but that's quite often because it's a tough thing. It's something you don't want to do. It's the thing you know in your heart you don't want to do.
As Jenny mentioned, it's important to show the full picture of being a creator, not just the successes but the struggles too. Events like this help creators remember that they aren't alone in what they feel.
But we only show our best, which is not real. Because how about all the mess underneath it? So I want to expose that.
For creatives in Manchester, these events aren't just a place to work, but a place where real connections are made and creative futures are shaped. Abigail Homewood, Quays News.
Now, Salford citizens have been ranked as the most e-conscious holidaymakers in a study done nationwide.
The region has seen the highest spike in searches for environmentally friendly holidays, with 18 to 24-year-olds prioritising greener travel than most. At least 39% of this age group said that a fair amount of them consider how their travel decisions will affect the environment.
With more on how you can factor sustainability into your travel plans, we have our reporter Lily Holt. So Lily, what is ecotourism?
So ecotourism is essentially just an umbrella term used to describe tourism directed towards exotic and often threatened natural environments, and it intends to support the conservation efforts and observe the wildlife. But it isn't just about nature, it's about being conscious of the environment and therefore the communities to which you're travelling.
And why is it important to factor the environment into your holiday?
Well, we should all try and leave places better than how we came to them. It's important not only for the planet but also for local economies, and it is important for you. Factoring in the environment can lead to you having a more immersive, authentic and memorable holiday, and it can be a lot cheaper.
So Lily, what are some easy ways that we can be environmentally conscious when we travel?
So I spoke to nature-focused travel agents, Responsible Travel, and they told me that there are a lot of ways that we can be more eco-conscious when we are travelling. This includes travelling to locally owned hotels and hostels who employ local people and put money back into the hands of local communities. Nature tourism, so visiting national parks and wildlife preservation sanctuaries. The entry fees tend to go directly back into the maintenance and research. However, you should be avoiding places that make animals perform for money. Sourcing locally sourced food options, so local restaurants, locally owned and locally sourced food is key. This reduces the fuel costs when importing ingredients in by using seasonal vegetables. Also avoiding big resorts and all-inclusive holidays and big cruise ships, the convenience of which aim to stop holidaymakers from spending money in local communities. Travelling for longer holidays, so obviously we know that carbon neutral fuel is not an option at the moment. However, travelling for longer tends to reduce the impact of plane emissions, and using public transport as often as you can when you're on holiday. This is easy and it is cost effective.
Thanks, Lily. Dangerous and illegal sweets are making their way onto shop shelves in Greater Manchester, with concerns that some products contain harmful ingredients linked to health risks, including cancer. Authorities are urging the public to be cautious. But are these products still available?
So shoppers in Manchester may not realise that some of the imported American sweets and drinks sold in stores do not meet UK food safety standards. While these brightly packaged products may look harmless, some contained bad additivities, excessive caffeine or misleading labels.
From sour candies to energy drinks, some imported products fail to list allergens properly or exceed the legal limits for ingredients such as red 40 and yellow 5, which are restricted in the UK. The council has issued guidance warning that some American sweets and drinks could be unsafe.
The guidance warns of risks such as hyperactivity, allergic reactions and dangerously high caffeine levels in products like American energy drinks. Despite these warnings, some of these products remain on shelves. Authorities are urging the public to report any unregulated American sweets or drinks being sold without proper checks. Now, the sacred month of Ramadan begins tomorrow night with the sighting of the crescent moon, and our reporter Zara Altaf has more.
Ramadan, the holiest month in Islam, is a time of fasting, prayer and charity. From sunrise to sunset, Muslims around the world, including here in Manchester, will be refraining from food and drink, focusing on self-reflection and community. With just days to go, preparations across the city are well underway. But beyond traditions, let's find out what Manchester has going on. With Ramadan just days away, Manchester is coming alive with preparations, from mosques welcoming worshippers to markets stocking up on essentials. The city's Muslim community is getting ready for a month of faith, fasting and generosity. I spoke to Radwan Faraz from Human Appeal to find out more about what the charity does during Ramadan.
Engage with various people through online platforms. We have our donor care centre which calls people, our donors, as well as events that we do here on this side. And then we operate in over 25 different countries around the world, delivering different types of projects. And so this is a period where a lot of our food relief increases, and that might be food parcels that we give to families to help them through this month, or hot meal distributions in places where even cooking food is very difficult for them to be able to do.
Let's find out how exactly Ramadan impacts business.
During the Ramadan, the business is everybody thinks it gets more busier, but the beginning of Ramadan, for the first week, it gets busier. After that, people storing a lot of stuff in their houses, so it goes very quiet.
Ramadan is about more than just fasting. It's a time of unity, reflection and giving back. Zara Altaf, Quays News.
And now our sports reporter Sam West joins us in the studio. Sam, what's been going on this week?
It has been a busy week for sport. Here's what you need to know. The Salford Red Devils are gearing up for their game tonight against Hull as they look to bounce back from a 32-6 loss to the Leeds Rhinos last Saturday. A win tonight would mark the Red Devils' first victory in the 2025 Super League season. A 10-man Manchester United team clutched all 3 points last night at Old Trafford following a 3-2 win over a relegation-battling Ipswich side. United lost new signing Patrick Dorgu in the 43rd minute to a straight red card, but goals from centre-backs Mateo Telikt and Harry Maguire, alongside an unfortunate own goal from Ipswich Sam Morsey, led them to a win at home, which moved them into the 14th place and level on points with Tottenham. Manchester City only need the one goal from Erling Haaland to leave North London with 3 points last night as they beat a struggling Tottenham Hotspur 1-0 to claim 4th place. They move just 1 point above Chelsea as the battle for the Champions League spots in the Premier League starts heating up. That's all for the sports this week. Will you guys be watching the Red Devils tonight?
I shan't. I'm going to the theatre this evening, but thanks very much for that, Sam.
And that's all we have time for today. I'm Georgina Bradley.
And I'm Katie Louise Buxton. See you next time on Quays News.